Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay Police continue to search for a suspect or suspects connected to a shooting late yesterday afternoon on Cumming Street. Shortly after arriving on scene, officers discovered a man who was injured, who was transported to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police then surrounded a home in the 200 block of Cumming Street where the suspect was thought to be hiding. ETU officers arrived moments later to breach the door and enter the premises, but appeared to come up empty-handed. Police then switched their focus to the apartment block on the corner of May and Cumming Streets. Some area residents were forced to vacate their homes, leaving them to watch from the street for up to 6 hours. Police are asking anyone with information or surveillance video from the area to contact them. Treaty 3 police in the Fort Frances area have someone in custody after reports that a person in possession of a firearm was at large in the community of Northwest Bay, posing a danger to the public. Treaty 3 police and OPP responded just after the lunch hour. Residents were urged to stay indoors and lock up while the situation unfolded. There's no information yet about the arrested suspect. The incident is still being investigated. The city has outlined ways it will look to improve Thunder Bay and the quality of life of its citizens. The new strategic plan was revealed today with 3 key areas of focus over the next 4 years. It comes as citizen satisfaction is in steady decline. Vasilios Bellows reports.
The city's top priorities and concerns have been revealed.
Is an aspirational and inspiring roadmap to an enhanced quality of life for the people who live in Thunder Bay.
The City of Thunder Bay's new strategic plan titled Mama Way Growing Together was presented at City Hall on Thursday. The plan has 3 pillars which outline the municipality's key focuses over the next few years. The first is Mama Way Altogether and looks at improving relationships with Indigenous communities. The second focuses on safety and well-being, including advanced crime prevention, the city's net zero strategy, and harm reduction for drug users. The third pillar is prosperity and sustainability, aiming to make city services easier to access, prioritizing urban density, and creating a supportive business environment. These priorities come after difficult findings from the most recent citizen satisfaction survey.
The 2022 rating was the lowest for quality of life that we've seen since we began tracking in 2009.
City Director Tracy Smith says recent surveys have shown a steady decline in citizen satisfaction. Smith says accountability for this new strategic plan will be crucial and that the city will adjust when needed to meet its goals.
We'll be engaging with council to review our progress of the plan and pay particular attention to any areas where we're not making progress, to see if there is a need to be responsive to the needs of our community, to make changes.
It was recognized that many of the items in the plan will require future investments on part of the city. City Manager Norm Gale does stress that for many of the objectives, the upper levels of government will also need to pitch in.
We have been advocating through City Council's Intergovernmental Affairs Committee with ministers of the Crown, and that will continue. We're going down to AMO in London next month, and those items are on our agenda.
The strategic plan has yet to be officially adopted, with Council being asked to approve it on Monday. If adopted, nothing binds Council to follow the plan when making future decisions, though Council members played a large role in developing it. Vasilios Bellows, TVT News.
It appears Neebing Arena will stay open for at least another season. The city-owned rink on Broadway Avenue found itself on the budget chopping block less than a month ago. The proposed closure is currently out for stakeholder consultation, which isn't expected back until the end of August. Administration believes those results will come too late to close the rink this year, as the city's ice allocation process has to start by July 24th. Closing Neebing Arena will save the city about $180,000 annually. If council does vote at the end of August to close the arena, administration says it won't happen until after the winter season. Construction on the roadway and sidewalks at Hillcrest Park is a couple weeks behind schedule. And today, city engineering officials announced a notable change to the traffic flow there, as Colonel Keene Drive will become a one-way street. Construction started near the end of May and was originally scheduled to be done in early July. But city project engineer Matthew Miedema now says the work isn't expected to be finished until the end of July. Crews were busy pouring the final loads of concrete today before the roadway is graded and ready for paving next week. Miedema says once it's done, the biggest change visitors will notice is a new one-way sign at the Bay Street entrance, along with a do not enter sign at what will now be the exit at Beresford Street.
That was part of the thought there, kind of make traffic flow easier, have some more parking spots for people as well, and allow it to flow easier there so there's not so much congestion and space for people to move around. And make it safer for pedestrians. Our one-way traffic is safer for people walking and using the park.
Miedema wants to remind people that the green space on High Street is still open, but the road and parking lot are closed until the construction is finished. Thunder Bay Transit continues to deal with a significant driver shortage that forced the cancellation of nearly 24 bus runs earlier this week. Transit officials and the transit union say it's been very difficult recruiting new drivers and getting them trained in time to address the summertime staffing issues. Jonathan Wilson reports.
It's been another stressful week for city transit drivers and passengers alike, as the numerous bus run cancellations that occurred last summer and again this June made an unfortunate comeback this week. 9 bus runs on 4 different routes were canceled on Monday, and another 11 bus runs on 7 different routes had to be canceled on Tuesday. Transit manager Brad Loroff says their staffing shortages continue to be an issue.
The problem is really amplified when we are in our summer vacation season. So that's where we're seeing some more recurring impacts where that we do have some service level impacts. And it all comes down primarily to the availability of staffing.
Buses are being pulled, routes aren't being covered.
Transit Union President Fred Caputo says they need at least another 20 bus drivers, and they also need to replace several mechanics who have left for higher paying jobs elsewhere. Loroff says they're looking for another 4 full-time and 13 part-time drivers to cover off summer holidays and illnesses. Caputo says it's not an easy sell.
A lot of them are deciding to retire early due to the stress of the job. We are also finding that the hiring process isn't going very well. The job is really stressful and people aren't knocking down the door to become operators.
We're being as creative and forward-thinking as possible with recruitment efforts to reach out to folks, communicate the transit is an attractive place to work.
Caputo says another issue is the long wait times for new drivers to get licensed at the local drive test center, which has seen major backlogs during and after the pandemic.
Once you do get hired, it's a long process to go through drive test. Through the training process, it's a good couple months before a newly hired operator is on their own. So there's a long delay in that. We've had many issues with drive test where operators are having to retest. So it's a real trickle effect.
Loroff says they're in a constant state of recruiting, but have only managed to hire about 2 new drivers per month over the past little while. However, he's confident they'll find enough new people over the next 9 months to prevent bus cancellations from happening again in the summer of 2024.
We feel we're moving in the right direction to reach back to a full complement, which will stabilize all of the service levels.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
It's the first full day at work for the new Toronto mayor, Olivia Chow, after she was sworn in yesterday. Natalie Johnson has the latest.
Day 2 for Olivia Chow, who is still working out of her temporary space up in one of the City Hall towers. A so-called touchdown office she's been sharing with her team. On the second floor by the mayor's lair, the picture of John Tory's council has been removed from this frame. But Chow hasn't had a chance to move into this space just yet. It's been a whirlwind couple days for the newly crowned mayor.
It is down to work today for Mayor Olivia Chow.
Chow spent some of the day meeting with some of the councillors she hadn't sat down with yet, as she works out a plan for who will handle which big files.
My goal is to, on the first round, ask them and then look at the structure, because it's really, structure should serve people, to serve our goals. Let's look at our goals, look at what people want to do, then look at the structure, and then do one more round, and then we'll put everything together.
Saying there's no hard feelings over councillors backing other candidates during the campaign.
All of that is in the past. It doesn't matter. if a counselor have expertise and knowledge and passion on trying to accomplish something, let's work together.
Insisting there is no time to waste.
We need to build housing fast. Planning process, the approval is like 2 or 3 years. We need to reduce that at least by half, if not more, right? Fast that. And we also said we need to support more mental health services.
Also on today's agenda, a briefing on the TTC with a focus on service levels and safety.
College Station.
2 days down in Toronto's top job.
WCTV's Natalie Johnson reporting. The board of directors at the Thunder Bay Art Gallery has named a new executive director. Matthew Hills of Muskoka is an art historian currently working in Corner Brook, Newfoundland. He has 15 years experience at various art galleries across the country.
Well, I think my real goal is to just hit the ground running when I get there. It's a big move, so looking forward to getting to Thunder Bay and getting the lay of the land and my bearings.
Hills replaces former executive director Sharon Godwin, who's stepping down after 42 years to become the project lead for the new art gallery on the waterfront. Art Gallery Chair Christina Bates says they're excited to see Hills fill the big shoes left by Godwin. The current gallery next to Confederation College will remain open for at least another 2 years until the new gallery is built. Hills says he can't wait to build on an established and successful art community already here in Thunder Bay.
Just excited to be part of the community and build on some of the success of the gallery in the past and be here for such a pivotal move to the waterfront in a time when the city's developing rapidly and thinking about new areas and the ways that the art gallery can contribute at the waterfront and make Thunder Bay a stronger and more thriving community. And I think really fundamentally excited to be in Northwestern Ontario and working with that arts community and part of it. So
Hills will move here in August and will begin his new role formally on September 7th.